Welcome back to the Bet Victor Top 6 show. It's the final weekend before the international break. It was a brilliant midweek of fixtures with Spurs coming from behind in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer-esque style. Absolutely brilliant. Man United finally getting a win, and a convincing win on the scoreline of that. Liverpool versus Arsenal was a brilliant second leg semi-final, with Liverpool getting to, of course, the final to face Chelsea in a few weeks' time. And it sets up this weekend perfectly. I did miss, by the way, that Chelsea dropped more points. This week, it's Chelsea versus Tottenham. Can Spurs upset the apple cart further? Can they put more pressure on Thomas Tuchel's men? Is it top four or bust now for Mikel Arteta, who's fighting for one thing and one thing only, a European place? Can Man United win again? We're going to delve into all of that, plus take a look at some of the big transfer stories that are circulating of Adama Traore to Tottenham, Julián Álvarez to Manchester City, pipping Man United, but of course the PR stuff's in motion there as well, and Haidara to Old Trafford as well. But I'm joined by a brilliant panel tonight, as you can see. Of course, backed by popular demand. I'm going to do this gentleman's introduction first. I didn't know who he was until he came on the other day, and he is the funniest Russian that I've ever met in my life. It's man like the Redneck Blue here, ready to give us his dulcet tones and his dry wit and humor tonight. With him, now this guy's funny in a different way. Louis is here with us. There he is, Penfold himself, ready to go tonight. He doesn't know who Penfold is, but we'll call him that anyway. And someone that's actually only as tall as Louis, because Louis is 4'8". Standing there at 4'8.5" is man like Alan Clark, and he is very, very small. He should be a jockey. Is Frankie Dettori your brother? Now, speaking of short people, he feels like a giant next to these two. It's man like KJ who's strolling in at a modest 5'2.5", with trainers 5'3", ready to give us his thoughts tonight. And of course, it wouldn't be the Football Terrace or the Bet Victor show without the wonderful, the brilliant Jessica Black, who's here with us, who's wearing black. The funeral of Arsenal's trophies being commiserated tonight, and she's holding it in. She's going to smile a little bit, maybe. Is she upset? She's going to smile. She's going to smile. There we go. But listen, everyone who's tuning in, hit that like and that share button for us. Make sure you are subscribing and get your Bet Victor apps downloaded or opened, or desktops, whatever you're watching on right now, because we're going to be going for some brilliant odds that are all in the description already for you in this show. Now, we've got to start with last night. I think we have to start with last night's game. Jess, 24 hours have flown by, nearly. What's the mood like among Gooners today?
It depends on if you're sane or not. You know, people that are insane have jumped off a cliff because we lost to a better team, which is strange to me. Like, very, very strange. I don't get it. But we always knew that the Arteta out people would be just crawling out of their holes as soon as we lost a couple of games. And a month ago, we looked at the schedule and we knew we were going into a difficult time. Manchester City, Liverpool twice. We played Nottingham Forest. That's probably the one game that we probably really should have won. And the Spurs game was called off. It was postponed. So we're coming to the end of that, and we haven't won any games. Shock. And people are, panicking. And I just find it strange. Liverpool deserved to win yesterday. They were better than us. They were more ready to play the game. It's not so much about our injuries and all of that kind of stuff. It's just they were the better team on the night. Like, they just were. And we just weren't there, so they deserve to go through. But since when is bombing out of the Carabao Cup in the semifinal against Liverpool the end of the world? Like, I don't get it. So I'm seeing all these top four or Arteta should get sacked. But like, before we started the season, like, nobody thought we were going to be in top four. So why is it we weren't even in Europe to start the season? So everybody's shifting the goalposts. People are starting to panic. I don't think we should unless we lose to Burnley. Like, if we lose to Burnley, then yeah, we need to start panicking. But if we beat Burnley and results go our way, we're still in the top four race, which is something that we never thought we'd be in. So 24 hours later, I'm feeling like The Arsenal fan base is doing exactly what people want us to do. Panic, go into crisis mode, jump off a cliff. And so for me, I don't really understand it, but we'll see what happens at the weekend. I think that's the most important thing now. If we lose, then yeah. But like right now, we went out of the semifinals of the Carabao Cup to a better team. Since when is that the end of the world? I guess that's my question.
You know what it is? First of all, Terry, we heard you. We saw what you did. You see how you quickly moved on, segued, like you didn't violate 3-man for no reason. All right, cool. We see you, bro. We see you. Don't worry about it.
Come on, brother. It is not a violation to state your height.
It's a violation to lie a man's name and slander him while he is right in your presence.
You know
not
what?
even in the newspaper.
4'8" to 5'5", same height, really.
This guy. Fake news, everyone. Fake news. Anyway, Alan, I've got you back. Louis, not yours so much. Don't worry about that. You can think for yourself.
Bro, I'm not too much shorter than you.
Shush, don't worry about that. Anyway, about Arsenal and Arsenal fans and the meltdown. The reason why that's happening, I believe, is that it's similar to when Chelsea fans were backing Lampard. They weren't backing Lampard, really. In their heart of hearts, they didn't believe. But because it was popular, because it was the in thing to do, because there was a set of Chelsea fans who would come after you if you weren't positive and backing Lampard, they followed suit. But as soon as things go around, went the wrong way, the true nature comes out. I personally believe many Arsenal fans do not actually back Arteta and believe that he's good enough to get top 4. But because of the circumstances that you guys are in, you have to try and act like that you are positive and you do believe and you do back Arteta. But when these things come around, the true nature comes out. The reason why people are saying top 4 or sack Arteta is because it was sack Arteta anyway. That's what they really want. And the only reason why they would even let him still be in a job is because top 4 is there, and that's something they haven't got. So that's what I personally believe. That's why there's a meltdown, because most people just don't want Arteta there, and it's going to take a lot to convince them that he's the guy.
I think Ragnak has a shorter career in United than Arteta. Believe me.
I mean, that could be true. I mean, I think I've got
Arteta ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
he ain't going nowhere.
He's really not.
I get
not.
that. But there is a difference. We're a fan channel. Do you think he'll be sacked is very different from do you want him to be?
Yeah.
And I think we're a fan channel, which is all fan channels should be more about.
We don't want him to be sacked. We want him to stay as long as he can.
So I mean, you're a Chelsea fan. You want him to stay. Rivals kind of want him to stay. I mean, I look at the poll right now.
Just on the human level, from the bottom of my heart, I want him to stay.
and I get that, bro. And I get it. You look at the poll right now, though. The poll right now, it's top 4 he should be sacked. He's at 30%. Top 6 or sacked is at 28%. Sacked anyway at 18%. Keep regardless 24%. So 75% of the votes, in one way, shape, or form, is that you achieve this or you got to go, or they just want him out. So I do get where KJ is coming from an Arsenal point of view. Do you get that sense at all, like Jess, that there are some Arsenal fans that are just overly positive about Arteta because it's the opposite to what AFTV are famous for, or it's the opposite to what some famous toxic Arsenal fans are like? Do you think some people overly back him so they don't get grouped in with those people? I mean, you once upon a time said that you don't think you win 4 in 4 and were called Leanne Gunner. So does that kind of...
Yeah, some people are overly positive, I guess. You know, some people are overly positive. There's always like very binary people on one or the other side. So it's kind of like that's how every single fan base is. It's not different for Arsenal. Every fan base has a group of people that are way on the other side, and there's some people that are like really, really negative. So I don't think that that's like weird or different. Like everybody's the same. But there is a section of the fan base that's somewhere in the middle. I think even Odegaard said that their goal for the season is just getting into Europe. So this top 4 thing is so weird to me because everybody, like if you guys are honest, if I ask this panel, do you guys really think that Arsenal team has what it takes to get into the top 4? Most of you guys would say no. If you're using your footballing brain, you'd probably look at that team. We don't have the quality or the depth yet. So I'm kind of like, and you guys can look at me like this, but I've been consistent. You'll never find a clip of me on the Terrace or anywhere else saying, oh yeah, we're getting top 4. You know, so I just think
you said you go into Europe. Europe is big. Which part?
okay, getting European qualification. That's
okay.
what I mean.
For like no. There's a new tournament conference called. That's a Europe.
Top six.
Okay, just
Top
making
six.
sure.
I really,
I'm a new
I love
here. I
you.
just want to be polite.
No,
when
yeah,
I'm
I know you
asking.
are. You're great. I love the dryness of it. Do you know what, Jess? I do get you, Jess. I do get you, and you have been consistent. But I also get it from some Arsenal fans' point of view that you've made it into the top 4 race. Spurs and Man United have been atrocious for large parts of the season. Your progression's there. A lot of Arsenal fans expect what you've done in the first half of the season to continue and progress and move into the second half of the season.
But who said that it's not? I think that's what's weird about it is that after every loss, a section of the fan base just loses their head. And then we go on a run and then they go back into their hole. So why can't we just wait until it actually is crisis time to start panicking? Most teams don't win a trophy in a season. They don't. Most of them don't. So I don't really understand.
I think it's because of what KJ said. And I think there's a lot of truth in there. I think a lot of people that say, like, oh, Arteta 100%. I think in their heart of hearts, they're Arteta like 20%. And you see the real true them come out when little mini crises happen, because that's what they really want to say. But maybe they don't want to put their head above the parapet. Maybe, they don't want to be... People care about this stuff. Maybe they don't want to be ostracized on social media, which definitely happens if your opinion is against the status quo.
I mean, that's fair enough, but like, he's not going anywhere mid-season, you guys. Like, he's actually not going anywhere. Like, we have to finish the season. If he finishes in the European places, regardless of what they are, he's not going anywhere. So like, just pick your side and just be on it and just stay there. Like, I get that people need convincing, but like, if it was, okay, well, we needed to beat Manchester City and get to the final of the Carabao Cup and stay in the top 4, and then I would be convinced, then you were always never going to be convinced because this team is just not there. So I get it, but like, this is a weird time. And I find it like, where was this energy when we lost to Nottingham Forest? Like, I feel like people are more thing now. I think it's because of the Liverpool stuff, because they went really hard on the Liverpool postponements and all that kind of stuff. Liverpool is a great team. It was always going to be difficult. We're out of the cups. Let's just see where we finish. That's all I ask. Let's just see where we finish. Because if we finish in the top 6 and he doesn't go anywhere, what are you going to do?
May I add one more little theory? Do you think it's also to do with the like a mini civil war that's going to break out in Arsenal like it did at Man United with the whole Arteta in, Arteta out? Do you think maybe because there was a side of Arsenal fans that have been backing him so much that whenever there is something that goes wrong, the opposite side are like, okay, here's my chance to tear down the argument and start an uproar because I don't want people to think that this guy's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like, every fan base is like this. Like, I just don't understand, what's the difference? Like, I really don't. Well, not every fan base, but Man United, Arsenal, and I think Chelsea to a certain extent are like this, where they're flip-floppy all the time.
We're talking about Arsenal.
Oh, no. We're not flip-floppy.
You are definitely flip-floppy at Chelsea, mate. Jesus
Chelsea
Christ.
Chelsea's
I don't speak English when it
I
comes
guess
to
I don't really understand the conversation, because talking about sacking him now when there's no conversation around it at all in terms of the club doesn't really make sense.
Forget the club. My point would be this, and I'll ask it to Alan. What should the requirement be from now to the end of the season for Arteta, in your opinion, as a football fan, for him to maintain? No, banter aside, you want him to stay because you don't think he's good enough as a Tottenham fan. But this whole top 4 or busting, this is fans saying, I want this if he doesn't achieve X. What should the standard be from your point of view?
If I would, from my point of view as Arsenal fans, considering where you used to be, where you are and where you have been for the last couple of years isn't good enough. Arsenal fans should always be, we want top 4 or better. We want to win trophies or better. So if he's only getting 6th, 8th to 6th and all that, for me, that's a failure, especially when you go to the fact that Arsenal fans were saying this season that we've only got one game a week. we ain't got distractions of Europe. We can build, we can do that. You've got the team you want, the youngsters you want. It's not the toxic that was there. You've got a couple of them out now. So for me, Arsenal fans should be expecting top 4. And if he doesn't get it, that's where he should go. Also, I'd like to go back to what Jess said at the start of the show. I'm sorry, but if you look at the team that Liverpool put out last night, technically with what you say about your players and your team, on paper you had the better team. No Mane, no Salah, no Thiago. Hold on.
I'll let you finish, and then Louis will go, and then I'll go, because I need to address this whole.
Okay.
We were playing Liverpool's B team, and because we like our players and we rate them,
I never said
that we're saying that our team was better.
Let's take it to put it into context.
So just because we think Martinelli and Saka are good players, we think that we're better than Liverpool.
Let me get my point across.
Okay, I'll let you get your point across, but I know where you're going with this.
Last week, 0-0, you celebrated it. That was great. You drew 0-0 with Liverpool. Then loads of Arsenal fans are going to get him back to the Emirates. It's different at the Emirates. You beat him at the Emirates. You're going to get into the final. And then they came with a team that was just as bad as what it was the week before, because they didn't have the Salah, Mane, Thiago. You had Gordon starting, their youngster. So on paper, the way you go on about that, you postponed the Tottenham game so that you could have your best players back.
We postponed because we couldn't fulfill
it's called
for the
banter.
game for the North. Come on.
So it's called banter.
Be serious for 5 seconds. Like, be serious.
It's getting a reaction. It's fine. But then to come back and obviously put in that performance that you did, for me, if I was an Arsenal fan, roles reversed, and that was Tottenham and Chelsea, I would be disappointed that Tottenham didn't get through. Getting Chelsea back in the same scenario, getting a 0-0 away for Chelsea.
Were you disappointed when you guys just went out to Chelsea a couple of days ago and they didn't have Rich James or Chilwell?
Of course,
I'm disappointed. Of course, I'm disappointed. But
Partey spent more time at the bag in there at the airport than he did on the pitch yesterday. I mean, it's just embarrassing. It really is.
That's a good one. But
I don't think it's that. I think it's because it's at the final. It's a semi-final. You don't put the league game, regular league game versus semi-final. It just didn't look. It's a semi-final of a cup that Arsenal could win.
We put out our best team. What do you want?
Your best team was flew on a private jet. Just to get the 2 yellows in still 5 minutes. I'm talking about the guy that was served on a private jet when he was flying. I'm talking about Partey. Yeah. That's the guy. He was supposed to.
I didn't get it because your joke fell flat. So make sure it actually comes across next time, because it didn't come off.
If you didn't laugh,
it didn't come off.
If
that was our best possible. What is this? I don't understand. I'm really not getting it.
I'm trying to explain you why you're so defensive about it. I don't understand.
I am defensive because I know where I was. I knew it was a semifinal. That was the best that we could have did.
The League Cup.
We didn't rest anybody. Did you see our bench?
Okay.
We didn't rest anyone.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Because you're not making sense.
Louis, question for you. Did Arsenal beat your B team last night?
No.
Sorry, did you beat them with your B team last night? With your B team?
No. One Arsenal player would have got into our team yesterday. I think. Yeah, one Arsenal player. From those two lineups, the only player I'd take is Saka instead of Gordon. Otherwise, I'd take the entire maybe Ramsdale, but he put in a great performance yesterday. I don't get this is me supporting Arsenal. I don't get the argument that Liverpool played a weakened team. Yes, we were weakened without Salah and Mane, but Arsenal were weakened as well without Partey for the majority. Let's be he shouldn't have. He was poor. That was poor from Arteta to even put him on the bench. He wasn't there. You had to play Odegaard deep, who I actually thought was the best player for Arsenal throughout the game. I thought he was great. Arsenal were just as weakened as Liverpool. But still Liverpool's team on paper was significantly better. But I think this is the issue with Arsenal fans. And for me, Arteta should not be sacked. And because Arsenal have made clear progress. For me, Arsenal have had a good season. Arsenal have made... Fans look at things so linearly, right? With you came 6th last season, so progress is 5th. Or you came 2nd last season, so progress is 1st. That's not how things work. Gary Neville actually said this at the beginning of the season, right? And he's right. Man United could have finished 4th, but made progress from last season. So you didn't compete last season at all for the Premier League. You were 2nd, but you weren't really 2nd, right? It was Man City at the top. You didn't challenge. Whereas if Man United challenged but came 4th, that could have been perceived as progress, because things might not have looked like progress in terms of the table, but in terms of actually challenging and competing, you guys would have been better. So if you look at this from Arsenal, for me, they've challenged. If they win their games in hand, they're above Chelsea. Like, yes, I know winning your games in hand, but it shows the levels of where you're at in terms of who you're alongside. For me, this is where Arsenal fans need to chill a bit. Before the season, no one would have put you in top 4. On paper, you do not have the 4th best team in the league. You probably have the 7th or 8th best team in the league. So anyone that's saying Arteta should be sacked if you get 4th is just utterly ridiculous right now.
I agree. See, do you know what's mad about it? I agree with that. And I asked the question because I don't care about what the club are and aren't going to do to a degree.
No, of course. You're asking that question because it's what people are talking about online.
I want to know what fans think will happen, but more so, what do they want to happen? Fans' wants are more important to me than what Edu or the Cronkies decide to do. To a large degree, fan media should always be about fan opinion every single time. And my point is, I agree with you, Louis. I think some Arsenal fans, I've had this conversation with Lee so many times on the Straight Facts on a Tuesday. You have progressed this season. I'm not saying have a parade, have an open top bus parade, but you have made progression. The one issue, the only time I think they should look at Arteta's job is if from now on, if they end up back in 7th or 8th by the end of the season, but it's an awful between now and the end of if they lose 7-8 games and it just falls off the edge of a cliff, that's different. But if they keep winning at the same rate they've been winning, but still only come 6th, it's progression from last year. And to undo that, and my club have done this many times where we've started to progress. We think, but if we bring in another guy, we'll go to the next level. Invariably, we've gone backwards every single time. We might have had a little spike with Joe Stan won a little trophy. So I think Arsenal fans have got to be very careful what they wish for here, especially as many of them got bad owners.
But I think you guys both made the right points, which when you try to make those points, people are like, oh, well, you're Arsenal, you should want more. There's what Arsenal is and what Arsenal is right now. Like, just because we don't make 4th doesn't mean we haven't progressed. And like people saying, okay, well, you should have did better against Liverpool. I'm sorry, but like if you're not willing to say that you think Saka and Martinelli and Lacazette are better than Jota, Firmino, and that kid, or that Kelleher, Virgil van Dijk, Matip, Robertson, and Trent Alexander-Arnold are not as good as what we put out, then I don't want to hear it from you. If you can't say that you think our players are better, I'm not hearing you. I'm not. You guys know it. You guys know you're chatting. You guys know you're talking shit. We were not going to win that game with no midfield. Like, keep it 100.
No jokes this time. No jokes this time. I'm gonna say what I think. Why it's from Chelsea perspective. Look, every time Chelsea wins the trophy, we're going in the mud next season. Which we are pretty much like it's like common thing. I see the problem is this way. To win the trophies, you need to be in content of the trophies. So for me, the most important trophy was Super Cup. That gives you something extra to go into the season before the season start. And we are good on the first. Then in December, we start falling down. I see that Carling Cup, whatever the name of it now, is the one little kind of step into like extra pump into the go to the second half of the season. And I think if Arsenal would have won that game, like if they would approach the game with the same attitude, if they tried to get the draw at the first leg, they could have beat Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool had a stronger team. I think they lost the battle in the middle, where actually, the jokes aside, Partey would have made a difference. And that's the reason why I said the private jet is the one. The thing is, if you would have won that, approach the game same way, you will have a trophy that will give you extra kick to fight for the top 4. That's why I'm looking at the trophy as the kick to least challenge at the top 4. That's the only thing.
Do you know what I would say as well, I get where you're coming from, Jess. I did see a lot.
But it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue before because she doesn't say those statements like other Arsenal fans do.
I get that. But sometimes sometimes what you have to do is take a step back and go, well, why are people bantering Arsenal? Well, I must have read from fairly prominent people who have followings, 5 or 6 tweets. Again, it's the retweets on top of that and then the quote tweets. So hundreds, maybe even into the thousands of sort of, especially as yesterday morning, there was a very interesting story about the false positive cases and the, Dalglish's daughter and everything else. I saw a lot of people put things out like tonight's about revenge. We'll get them back for cheating. So there was this big build up to this game for 2 weeks of it being, we're going to do it. After the 0-0 draw, nearly every gooner that was on our show, and I'm not calling them out for this, it's fair play to them. They were like, we will come to your home. We're gonna do it at home next week. So when there's a lot of energy that we will win, you're always going to get stick back in the other direction. Now, we know you had no midfield. We know your squad was weakened, which is exactly why you applied to get your game postponed against Tottenham, because you know you weren't winning that game with no midfield. It would have been impossible. If you thought you would win the game, you wouldn't have. No one applies for postponements if they think they're going to win the game, because what's the point? You just play the game and win, right? So, you notice that I know they wouldn't do it, but Liverpool were never going to put in a request for playing Shrewsbury, irrespective. They're just not. They're going to beat them even if they're under 18s. They're better than them. So I look at it this way. Arsenal fans getting banter today is absolute fair game, especially the gooners that were giving
it. Is fair. It is fair. Getting bantered is fair. But then when they go into, well, I mean, you had the best opportunity and this and that, like, to just ignore the fact that Liverpool are just a better team, like, and but then try to act like we should have won. Like, come on, like we did.
Also,
yeah, but I've seen that where it's like, but you played their weakened side.
No,
Have
Jess,
you seen our weakened side?
No, I get what you're saying, Jess. But it's the issue is again, your fan base, like Man United at times, like Chelsea at times, will go on and scathe Spurs because Alan's here. Like, why are we not talking about Spurs and the way they played about? Because Spurs fans didn't go on saying we're going to absolutely batter Chelsea. And then also, when things go bad for like another team, I don't see many Spurs fans jump on that and say, this is why we're so much better. This is why we're going to overtake you. This is why you will never catch up to us and no one will catch us. Like,
well, you don't see it because they're not your rivals. They're all over my social media.
Hang on, but Man United, we get it. Like, none of you come on here when we get beat. None of you come on here when we get beat and go, do you know what, Terry? I know you just got beat by Watford 4-1, but in fairness to your players, they've had 5 managers and 5 different systems in 9 years. The structure of the club is awful. We understand why you're in this mess. Now, what you will come on and do is laugh at us and banter us and ignore all the reasons that led us to where we are and just go, you were crap. Haha, you should have won. That's just football. And I think we need to learn to accept
I
that.
agree. But kind of back to the original point of Arteta and Arsenal and expectations, that isn't Arsenal's fault. Like, it's not how the Arsenal fan base conducts themselves or how rival fans talk about Arsenal isn't like it. That shouldn't dictate whether Arteta stays or goes. Like, for me anyway, because of all like Arsenal fans saying, like, for example, Arsenal fans yesterday would have gone, "Oh, we're going to beat Liverpool." Like, anyone with a brain knew they weren't going to beat Liverpool. Like, anyone who had their head screwed on knew that there wasn't a chance. But that isn't Arsenal's fault.
There was a chance.
No, I hear you on that. Guys, we've got to move on, and we've got to move on. Otherwise, we're already at half an hour in. We've got an hour left. We've got 5 more points. So we're going to try and spend about 10, 15 minutes on the rest of the points, and I might have to cut into people's talking, including my own. We've got some super chats here. Breaking. The reason I keep muting your mic, by the way, Louis, is because your mic something's rubbing against your mic, and it's making noise. There we go. Breaking. Arsenal have this afternoon confirmed the sale of the club with the new owner, Diego Jota. He messaged me last night a couple more times afterwards. Absolute stunning geezer. Absolutely.
He did Tomiyasu. He did it.
Did you see what he did to Ben White? They didn't score from it when they had the cutback and they missed the shot, and when I think went over the bar. Like, Ben White looked like he had concrete.
It was despicable things.
He looked like he borrowed Lukaku's Timberlands. It was a madness.
Jota's compilation against Arsenal is mad, by the way.
I hear that. Guys, let me just let me read these super chats. In my opinion, it's top 4 or sack Arteta is correct, because at the start of the season, no one expected United and Leicester and Spurs to have such crap seasons. Don't forget they spent 160 million. So should, I think he means they should show some progression. Wolves here says cheap shot. I don't know what that referring to, but thank you. It says beginning of the season, I said top 6. Now it's top 4. Not about moving the goalpost. It's about how he's handled the pressure when it's within reach. If he can't handle top 4 race stroke managing the FA Cup and League Cup, can you handle the Champions League? I think it's a good point being made there. I might be late to this, but I just saw the Odyssey launch video. KJ, congratulations, my man. Excited to see what you guys come up with.
Thank you.
Jess, you don't need to explain anything to anyone. Man like Jamrock there, backing up Jay. Jesse's hurting is what Laddie's got to say. He says Jesse's hurting today. Alpha here says, I got the joke loud and clear. Only thing flat was Arsenal's performance. Stephen Charles Bergwijn, I think it is, has broken Woolwich Arsenal with that last-minute winner. Arsenal, Leicester City on Wednesday night, and Arsenal fans are deluded. Per here says, big up, Terry. Can you please tell me what Arteta have done to deserve a fourth season in terms of objective facts, not subjective feelings? It's a really good super chat, and I'll answer it very, very quickly in the interest of time. We spoke about it a lot. They are winning more games, defensively more solid, conceding less goals, becoming more and more competitive when they're playing against the bigger teams, and they are higher up in the league. The cup runs haven't been as good, but he is developing a lot of the young players into better individuals, the likes of Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Emil Smith-Rowe starting to produce more outputs as well. So I think there's a number of tangibles in there for Mikel Arteta, and all those positive things I've just said, that's also all you gooners that say all we do on this terrace, on the terrace, is slag you off. Woolly's red card. Arsenal is Arsenal's new Premier League name forever. Oh, Woolly's red card Arsenal. Okay, thank you, my bro. Brandon here. it's man like Tomiyasu.
man got cooked and was like, let me retract.
No, do you know what? I say, I'll give you credit. You're one of the first people to have a clip go viral and not ask me to delete it. So fair play to you for having the stomach for it. And you know what's funny? Oh, yeah, no, one of the only people that's asked me not to do it. So, look, quite a few haven't. Do you know what's funny about it as well? Well, one guy made me delete it, and it was over 400,000 views. Then his opinion turned out to be right, and he was so gutted it got deleted. So can you imagine? Tomiyasu turns out to be awful. You know what you can do, Brendan? But see, I told you guys like 2 years ago, and you were abusing me. Keep it. Keep the receipt. I think he's brilliant, by the way. I think you'll be wrong on that one, but there we go. United are just a much bigger story than Arsenal. Japanese Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now you've gone too far. Now you've gone too far with it.
It's closer to Alonso, closer to Spanish Alonso, actually.
We've all got a fullback we don't like. Jota has 6 goals in less than 400 minutes versus Arsenal. Yeah, it's impeccable, the amount of goals that he has scored. Now, viewers, if we hit 1,000 likes tonight on the show, I will give you a massive clue for the Football Terrace secret phrase. I think someone's going to get it because the club I'm going to name, and they have one of the most famous examples of this phrase in the history of Premier League football. So get it past 1,000 likes and we will give you that clue. Now, before we move on from Arsenal, I want to do some score predictions for their game that's coming up this weekend. They play Burnley. How are you feeling about that game, Jess? You confident of a win? And what's the score going to be?
I think we're going to win that game at home, yeah. I think we'll probably beat them 2 or 3-0. They don't have Cornet. If we played them like we played Liverpool in the first 20 minutes of that match, I figure we'd be 2-0 up on them. So I would expect us to respond. We're due a win, even without our midfield. Even without a midfield, we beat them away from home. So, yeah, and they're in bad form. So I think we'll beat them 2 or 3-0.
What are you saying, KJ? What are you going with?
Yo, Brexit FC, their time is here. It's time to go. I cannot wait for this team to get relegated, bro. Arsenal, they're going to do them, bro. I'm telling you, 3-0 clean. Not maybe 2 or 3, 3-0 with my chest.
Let's go with that 3-0. I'm going to put a little £2 bet on there on it being 3-0 to Arsenal. The links for Arsenal versus Burnley are available in the comment section below, or the description below. So make sure you get yourselves across to that. Get signed up to your free Bet Victor account. Remember, if you bet £5 today, they'll give you a £30 free bet on top. If you want us to put any bets on for you, by the way, Oral Campbell, who put a fiver on Man United to win 4-1, he must hate Bruno this week. That's £155 that he would have won there. So there we go. There we go. Man United. Speaking of Man United, we won. Firstly, like that's big. We won a game of football, and we scored quite a few goals as well, which in itself was fun. First half was bad though.
Terrible.
Can Man United continue that this weekend when they go head to head with Chelsea? With West Ham, sorry.
No, like you should have lost on Wednesday or
First
Thursday.
of all,
Whenever
why should we have lost?
you should have been like 2-3-0 down at half time.
Why?
Because they had so many chances.
So hang on a minute.
Louis,
Hang on a minute, Louis. Sorry,
Hang on, you look at the XG. You look at the XG.
Okay, Louis. So when your goalkeeper makes saves, that means your team should have lost. So when Alisson pulls off great saves for Liverpool, that means your team should lose or draw.
If we are forced into a situation where Alisson is having to make continual saves, and he is the only and he is the only reason that we're not, then yes.
No, but it's nonsense. De Gea made 3 really good saves in that first half. I've seen many a game where your goalkeeper has pulled off 3 or 4 good saves, where your defenders have, for instance, pulled off last sticks. Yesterday, as an example, you would have been 2-0 down if Keller hadn't put the free kick onto the crossbar, and if Fabinho hadn't made that last ditch tackle to stop Martinelli going through, you'd have been 2-0 down. So does that mean you were lucky to win?
No.
Why are teams lucky to win when a player on their team performs?
Hang on.
It's the biggest
No.
BS ever in football.
Whoa. So,
biggest BS ever.
So I have a question, Terry. If De Gea was in goal for Brentford would have run. Would have won, right?
Okay.
No.
Okay. So on that, sorry, Kate. So on that, okay, it's a great point. So if Mo Salah played for Man United and you had Rashford this season, what does that mean?
We probably we wouldn't be as high up the table as we are.
Yes, but you do have Mo Salah, so you are where you are. So do you?
Yes.
So does that mean your position of Liverpool is false because you have Mohamed Salah?
I didn't say it was false. You won the game.
The win was lucky. Oh, Liverpool.
It was lucky. Hang on. Are you lucky?
Stop. You've done yourself. Are you lucky?
No. Are you saying you weren't lucky? Are you saying you weren't lucky?
I'm saying David De Gea was brilliant and deserves praise.
He was. So were you lucky?
Don't keep asking me questions. Answer mine.
Yeah.
Are Liverpool lucky and not good? Yeah. Are you lucky because Mo Salah scores goals, or are you good because it's part of your team?
We weren't a one-man team. Mo Salah is not the only reason we're in second. Mo Salah
scored nearly half your goals this season.
Yes, but he's not the only reason we're in second.
But De Gea ain't the only reason we won. 3 players scored.
He is. Yes, he is.
No, he's not, though. 3 players scored goals, bro. It's not like they scored their own goal and won 1-0.
You would have been...
Louis,
hang on. If Dean Henderson was in goal, in my opinion, you would have been.
No, we wouldn't have, because I'm sorry. Like Terry said, it was amazing saves. They weren't amazing saves. The guys took poor shot choices.
You look at you. Listen, I'll tell you what.
Listen, I would be the first one.
You play like that for the rest of the season, and we'll see.
No. Listen. I would be the first one to admit that first half was crap. Should Brentford have been like 3-0 up in the first half? Yes, but that's not down. That's not down to Man United. That's not Man United's problem. That's their problem.
Of course, it's your problem.
No. My thing is this. No, Terry, you got your time. Let me have mine.
We've got to move on.
No, I'm going to be quick. My point is this. You can't say we were lucky just because they didn't take their chances in the first half. There's a whole nother half of football
that is literal luck.
And we legit scored. If we were 3-0 down, we never know. We could have won 4-3. Spurs look like they're about to lose 2-1. And people would have said, you're lucky to win that game. No, they got 2 goals at the end.
I don't understand the hypothetical. It's all hypothetical. Why are we going down this route?
It's not like we haven't done that before, though.
Hang on.
Like
my point is very lucky.
Everybody does this.
If you played against West Ham like you played against Brentford in the first half, you will lose. Hang on,
Louis, I understand
2-1 West Ham.
I understand all this, but the point is, someone even says here, Terry's embarrassing himself. That's cool. The first game would have been over the game would have been over in the first half. But it wasn't because David De Gea scored. It's like saying, we had 3 1-on-1s and missed. If we hadn't have missed those 1-on-1s, we'd have won this game 3-0 instead of losing 1-0. But you did miss and you did lose. It's the weirdest football analysis I've ever seen in my life. When goalies make saves, you're not lucky. When the teams you're playing against miss, that's them being poor.
Well, the question
Oh,
is if you
where
had the
was
better
this? Where
forward.
was this
If
energy when?
yeah.
No,
you had the better forward, you
Hang on a
would have
minute.
put
Hang
it
on,
away.
hang on.
when Ramsdale was making saves,
on.
we were lucky.
And
That's
no,
all
who
I'm
praised?
saying.
I didn't say that. I praised him. I
We
praised
were
him.
lucky.
Ramsdale with his camera saves can get out of this conversation for now.
It's the madness.
My
to me.
point is,
Louis, I'm gonna let you continue. I'm just saying it's the most flawed analysis in the
it's
world.
not flawed
It is
because
flawed.
if you played a better team, you would have lost.
But
If
we
you played
didn't.
a better team
But we
with
didn't.
better strike,
But
yeah,
we
but
didn't.
the point is, it's not
But we didn't.
sustainable.
Yeah,
It's not
Louis,
sustainable.
that's your
They're not
point.
saying
Then.
it's
Say
sustainable.
that then. Say that the way Man United performed that in that first half,
Hang on,
it
hang
needs
on.
it needs to be better. But
Hang
don't
on,
come
hang
out
on.
and say like,
if you
oh,
guys
were
let me
lucky,
finish my point, that's where I would have got
Right.
to. But as
Yeah,
soon
but-
as I insulted the holy Man
No, as soon
United,
as you come out with
I was
bollocks,
attacked.
bro, because that's what you
No,
made me
no,
do.
no,
fam.
no,
Like,
no,
that's why,
no,
bro,
no,
with
no,
people chatting, because
no,
you're landing
no,
in crap.
no,
You say, let me land. No, you're about to land in poo,
No,
bro. Let me
no,
help
no,
you
no,
get to
no.
where you're supposed to be,
No,
which is
So
here.
I don't understand how any Man United fan could watch that performance and be happy. You were awful.
They
Can I
didn't say
have
that.
Can I add
Louis,
5
Louis,
cents?
this-
Can I
this-
have 5 cents?
1 second. Let's go back again. No one said we were happy. I'm not even talking about that game. I'm talking about football analysis in general. Where
Yeah.
has this suddenly come from? And by the way, it happens in reverse. When Man United signed Robin van Persie and he had a great goal scoring season, oh, you're a one-man team. These things are nonsense. And no, there's no such thing. You just said there's no such thing as a one-man team, but then you're saying we're lucky because one player in our team had a brilliant game and made saves. It literally flies in the face of what you've said. It's madness to me. But
I
we are
wouldn't say.
going to move on because we've done it. We've said our piece, and the viewers can make their minds up. So we'll just go on. We'll just go around in circles again, because you're not going to change your mind, and nor am I. So there's no point continuing to go over it. In terms of West Ham, will Man United get the job done in your opinion, Louis?
No.
Why?
Because if you play like you did against Brentford and you play like you did for the whole season, you will lose because West Ham have been much better than you this season. West Ham are a solid unit. West Ham are a cohesive unit. And if you play like you did against Brentford, like you did against Aston Villa, like you did against numerous times this season, you will lose. I'm still going to go for a 1-1 in saying that. Because I think you guys needed a little bit of confidence. Hang on. You guys needed a little bit of confidence, and I think you are going to start playing better than you have been over recent weeks. Like him bringing on Rashford was a genius call. He knew that the game was there for him to get a goal. It was a smart call, and I think Ralph is managing the team well. Taking Ronaldo off, like he's managing the team well.
So that's not locked.
No, but in that game you were lucky.
But the manager made genius decisions, so therefore our win.
Yeah, genius isn't after you should have been losing. KJ, we moved on from this point. Your team's dead. It will be 1-1 though, because you'll get some sort of bullshit penalty that will come your way.
Oh, get some more luck then.
Some more luck. But it won't be on David De Gea this time, so you'll be fine.
All we do is
My point is
1-1
or 2-1 to West Ham. I'm undecided, but I think 1-1.
What you saying, Redneck? What would you reckon? Will United be galvanized with their win over Brentford, or do you still think it's too hard to tell right now the way they're going to perform?
It is too hard because I don't think you have the starting midfield figured it out. I don't think he figured out your midfield yet. I don't think he trusts your midfield. That's why he always. You can see the club and you can see a club and him, but because they try to figure out what's the best situation in specific games. So I don't know how he's gonna set up the midfield. It could be a game of individual brilliance. That's what I look at out of this game. I don't think it's gonna be a draw. Actually, it's gonna be a win, but I don't know which one. It's gonna be individual brilliance by somebody. That's all it is. It's because if he's gonna approach it the way I will approach if I will approach West Ham from United States point, I will block that midfield because midfield is dangerous. West Ham have. That's to stop that. You need to put a lot of bodies in that midfield. So the game could be cancelled each other, and individual brilliance at the end or in the beginning could the one that make the difference. That's what I think is gonna happen.
What are you saying, Jess, about this game?
It's going to be probably close. I could easily see a draw, but I kind of agree with Louis a little bit that Man United kind of have to put together the first half of the Aston Villa game and the second half of the Brentford match to get through this one with the result, because West Ham is not a team that you can just kind of do the individual brilliance against. It's not going to work because they're too good. And Redneck, is that what they were calling you?
That's Redneck Blue.
Redneck Blue?
I
Okay,
live,
yeah.
I live in the south of South
Like-
Carolina.
Okay, so essentially, like, the midfield is where the game is going to get interesting. And I think Declan Rice could run circles around the Man United midfield as it stands at the moment. So it's going to be close. I could see some sort of like 2-2 draw or something. That would be best, honestly, for Arsenal. And so that's what I'm hoping for. But that's honestly what I could see. But like, again, it has to be the first half of that Aston Villa match and the second half of the Brentford match, or else you don't win this game, because West Ham is rampant. Bowen is on form. You know, they seem to be churning out the results. And so I think I don't think Moyes will be that worried about going up against this Man United right now.
Also, Ronaldo's injured apparently and might not play. So
good.
According to our rivals, we're better.
That's a good for United. Good for United. Actually,
Advantage for
You know what's
United.
interesting about it? I'm getting a feeling with this game. You know, when I get those feelings of it's going to be the opposite to what everybody thinks, because everybody thinks it.
I think United are going to win 6-0 then.
Yeah, but see, there's no sincerity in your opinion, therefore it does not.
it's
does
definitely
not,
no thinking process either.
Look, I'm not saying it's. I think it's going to be one of those games where you go, oh, where I think United will have a more complete performance than in the last two games. The confidence has been slowly.
Is that just wishful thinking?
No, but if you let me finish talking, you'll get to the point.
Go on.
I'm just saying it's a case of it isn't wishful thinking. It's because most opinions I'm seeing are West Ham too good, West Ham hard to break down, United almost like you kind of copped out a little bit, Louis, when all that big kind of story you gave us, that Jack and Ori, and then suddenly you said it's going to be a draw. But I think Man United might put in a good performance, sort of 70, 80 minutes where they're going to be the better team. When I predict it, I'm going for something like a 2-0 or a 3-1. I think United will win. They're not going to smash West Ham because nobody really smashes West Ham. But I think United will win this one. And I haven't been confident of a win in ages, but there's just too many people saying there's no chance. And when too many people say there's no chance, football nearly always bites back and says Sodja and throws it the other way. So I'm going for Man United win. And
West Ham will score a goal.
Yeah, we always concede. So
yeah, we're allergic to clean sheets. I don't know. I don't think we'll win
At
this
least
game.
one.
I think it's going to be a draw. I'm encouraged by the formation change to a 4-3-3. It can clearly suits our players better because we're getting better performances, at least in some way, shape, or form in a half. My issue is like, can we keep that going? Can we keep that going for an entire game? And then entire matches after that? Well, that's yet to be seen. But I want to see the 4-3-3. There are things there you can say, all right, cool, we can build off. We just got to defend better and be more cohesive up front. And then I feel like we could maybe start to see signs of something good. I don't think we'll get top four anyway, so I think it's about building for next season. So a draw for me.
Yeah, look, I hear where you're coming from. What about yourself, Al? I mean, you watched Man United with me the other night. What are you thinking?
So they were really bad in the first half, but Brentford didn't take their chances, and then they got much better in the second half. I've seen a little bit of progression with Man United over the last couple of weeks. I know in majorities of it, the performance has been poor, but like in certain patches, you can see that there's a little bit of a difference there from them. And people are glossing over the fact that West Ham have had some shocking results recently. Let's not forget the 3-2 at home to Leeds they lost. So not just saying that West Ham are this unbeatable team like everyone's making them out to be. They've got their own flaws as well. I don't know if I think Zuma and Souček may be back for this game or able to come back, or close to. So depends on what team they put out. I'd just see it going down as a 1-1 draw.
It could be. Look, I think what I'd say is this: a few people have commented saying, they've beaten City this season and they've beaten Liverpool, they beat Chelsea. I feel like being at home against West Ham is very different for them being away. They're not a very well-travelled team, even against the big sides. And look, I'm not writing West Ham off by saying they're crap, they're trash. We're better. We're better than them man for man. It's going to be easy. It's one of those feeling games that I get every now and then where just too many people are fancying West Ham for me. And I just feel like it will be that way. In terms of the game, it's going to be hard fought. Winning that midfield battle is going to be so hard because Declan Rice is arguably the most informed midfielder in the Premier League right now. Like, there isn't a central midfielder out there that is much better than him, even if just marginally. So he's performing very well. Bowen, as you say, I think he's got the most goal contributions of all inside forwards outside of Mo Salah in the league this year, like across all competitions. I think he's on something like 20 goals.
You lot make it too easy for us with the outside of Mo Salah stuff. I absolutely love it. I love it.
Well, it's because
he's the best, bro.
He's your greatest of course, and you know I think that, mate. He's your greatest ever Premier League player, and I know you agree.
Yeah,
so
he's better than Gerrard.
It's one of them ones there. And by the way, Louis, you do need to come back on this show next time with an Arsenal shirt on, because you did lose the bet to Jess.
Hang on. As I said to you on Twitter,
I ain't paying for it. You lost the bet.
You what?
How am I going to lose money for you losing the bet?
No. To Louis, you.
No, it will come out. It will come out.
Let
me just say this.
The Terrace has a kitty away.
Brother, the Terrace don't have no kitty. That's my dividends, bro. I ain't giving you my money still. We all work at Give Me Sport, where KJ's been there, Alan's been there. There's shirts. There's Arsenal shirts in that building.
Are there?
There's one hanging on a wall, so we'll take it off the wall.
I'll tell you what. I will take if it's not signed, I will take the Arsenal shirt off the wall.
You can wear it. It's probably signed by some player that no one's even heard of anymore. So you can put it on, right? Henri ain't signed it like that, but there we go. Score predictions for this game. We're going to get them up with Bet Victor now. The link for that is in our description below, people. So get your apps ready and get your apps open.
I'll tell you what. I'll do you one better.
Go on.
I'll wear the Arsenal kit at Wembley for the Carabao Cup final, so they've got some presence.
Mate, you want
no, I don't. I've always been safe.
Yeah, don't do this.
Bro.
Fans in an Arsenal shirt, you're looking like you look. You're going to get beat up.
You think I'm going to actually do that?
I don't.
So you lied. You lied again. So you've lied again.
Yeah, I'll come on to Terry's channel and I'll lie.
But you lost the bet, though. But it worked in your favor long term. Long term, it worked in your favor.
I mean,
but
Xhaka didn't really play, did he? So I think
he was on for like 8 minutes, and then he did a Karate Kid.
I think we call it a draw, and we're all square.
No, Louis, you are being weak. You need to own up to your mistake, which is making a bet you knew you'd lose.
Which I couldn't believe that you were arguing with me about. Right, it was obvious that he was going to.
It's because any normal club wouldn't play Xhaka. Like any normal club. Like what?
But it's Arteta, and it's his favorite player, so he was 100% going to play.
Like, to be fair, I should this is the guy that when Partey had fucked his hamstring, this guy pushed him back onto the pitch to run. Like this guy just doesn't care. I should have realized that, but yeah.
So you're going to wear the Arsenal shirt. Essentially,
at some point, I'll wear an Arsenal.
No, you've got to do it soon, bro.
Ladies, he's not a man of his word. Do not go for Louis.
Yes.
Do not go for Louis.
Men that don't follow through on their bets, and men that wear other football club people that wear other football club shirts. Do not trust them. Do not trust them. They are cheats. They are cheats. They are cheats. Sorry, KJ. I'm just throwing it out there. If Kai's watching, I'm sorry.
All right, she's good, man.
AJ's a good guy. He definitely ain't doing that. Terry, get Yvonne Drago to say I must break you. Go on, say it for us, redneck. Say I must break you.
I must break you.
I'm don't know. Someone might be offended by that.
No stereotypes whatsoever, right? Should I put the Russian vodka over here beside me and a picture of Putin or something for people?
2-2 draw between Man United and West Ham is what's said here. West Ham turn up for big games is what Laddie says. 1-0 to Man United is what Oral thinks. I have heard you say, Terry, against Liverpool versus Tottenham, that Liverpool were lucky because Alisson pulled off a great save. Just saying your opinion. Maybe I said that. If I did say it, then I'll hold my hands up and say I was wrong. But yeah, you're wrong. When a goalie makes a good save or two, I think what I actually said in that game was more along the lines of there was more luck there because there wasn't saves being made. Like Son's was a miss, if that made sense. I praised Alisson for making good saves. But if I did say they were lucky, then I was wrong. But I'm not too sure if I did.
But do you think they were good saves or bad finishes?
One of them was a bad finish. The first chance they got where there was the overload on the right-hand side, the ball was put not dead in the corner, but De Gea had to stretch his leg out as an example. One was hit straight at him. But then sometimes it's positioning, isn't it? The goalie's in the right position. One of the things that you saw Ramsdale criticised for last night wasn't his positioning, actually. It was his footwork, and he wasn't able to move to get down for the scuff shot. because he really should be saving that shot. There's no power on
Kepa
it.
versus City. He made the fake move to the left, and then he was too short to block it.
Who's that?
What is that?
That was weird. Everybody thinks United slip up. Opposite happens. 4-1. So we've got quite a lot of bets coming in here that we're going to put on now with our partners at Bet Victor. So I'm going to put that back up on the screen here so we can see. So we're going to go to the score predictor. Here's the correct score. So we've got 4-1. United is a huge bet, as you can see. That's 30-1 bet there at 4-1. If we go back to look at some of these others, we had 2-2 draw, which is 12-1, as you can see. And then 1-0 to Manchester United, which comes in at 9-1. So there's 3 decent bets there put in by the audience that we'll go and place now. We're going to put £2 on that because it matches the super chat, and then a pound on the draw. If my mouse would work properly, and then we'll scroll down. I can't get to the one below it. It's not working. How do I do this? This is very annoying. I think it's £5 on this one. No, I've ended up putting £15. Why is it doing this to me? There we go. There we go. And then put 5. That should be it. Done. There we go. All bets locked in. See, I put 21 in the one on top now. It's meant to be 2. So 21 there. That's boom. They're locked in. Your score predictions are in, people. Thank you very much for that. Other talk about United, though, is Haidara, the very well coveted midfielder that's been linked to the club for a while now. Anybody see Man United making a sign in this window? What are you saying?
Hell no, fam. Glazonomics, baby. It runs this club into the ground. We ain't signing no one. We could just about get rid of Lingard and Martial and them on there.
I have a question. What is Glazonomics?
Glazonomics is the... How do I explain this? If there is a smart football decision to make, think of the opposite. That is Glazonomics. The way that they think about football.
I'll give you an example. Glazonomics will work. Well, there's one here saying that Sergio Aguero at £27 million was low value in the market. There's no value in that deal.
Okay,
that's Glazonomics. This will be Glazonomics. This will be Glazonomics. You can sign Haidara, Ruben Neves, and Zakaria for a combined total of £75 million. Because we need 2 or 3 midfielders. Glazonomics is they'll sign an 80-90 million pound midfielder who sells more shirts, but we don't fill all the holes in the midfield.
One last one. Glazonomics is saying you have no money for no more transfers, so you can't buy a DM. But then a few weeks later, say sign Ronaldo for £30 million or however much it was, give him 400k a week because he sells shirts, and you know you're gonna get that money back. That is Glazonomics, even though you clearly had the money.
That's essentially what it is, which is why when we get called sport, we spend loads of money. KJ is the best extreme analogy I've heard of this. It's basically if your kids are starving, you don't buy them a Ferrari. That's Man United. Do you know what I mean? It's weird, but it's how we are. We're about to do the same thing. This is a very good point. We're about to do the same thing with Julián Álvarez, who might be going to City. So this is what's interesting about... I don't quite know if it's Glazonomics or something. We don't know what the offer was. But I said this a few weeks ago. United were tipped by lots of media outlets to be talking to him at the very least at the start of Jan. They did speak to him. They had fairly detailed conversations, but then it all went very quiet. United didn't progress it. And we all knew why, but anyone with a brain knew why. It's because he was looking at other teams and we weren't confident of landing him. And if we keep the noise around that we're talking to him and then he goes to a rival, it's embarrassing. Today it's announced by Fabrizio that City are pretty much leading the race. And the final part of his tweet, of course without foul, says, and Man United never had talks. United PR machine work. We did. We've been rejected for Man City. And United fans have got to suck that one up. Big rejection there. Simple and straightforward.
Why would you want to buy a player without manager?
Because a club shouldn't need a manager. There should be a club structure, and you buy players for the club's philosophy and system. And that's what Ralph, we were told, was going to help consult and build. And that's one of the reasons about Haidara, which is interesting. We can see the odds, by the way, when we put them up on the screen. He's 4-1 to join Man United, 6-1 Newcastle. And then you go in 12-1s for any Spanish, any Italian, or any French club. This is the reason why Haidara is being slowed down, because what's going on is the club are essentially saying, we don't know if the new manager's going to want the same types of players as Ralph, but Ralph's essentially going to be our director. Can you imagine Michael Edwards at Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp wanting completely different types of players and systems?
No, I agree, but from a player's point of view, why would they want to join United right now, not knowing who they're going to be playing on, though? Like that's
No,
the
no,
biggest
that's
thing.
fact. No, that's facts. It's not even just that.
No,
It's
no.
just the way the club is as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to come?
I get that, but I don't even think it's like having like a philosophy or anything, because I just think it's no one in their right, like even us, like we probably wouldn't want to go to a job without meeting the boss first and knowing who we're going to be working for. I just think that it's a little bit like Man United are in a tough position right now where they will struggle to make transfers because of the lack of, not even the lack of direction, but the fact they don't have a permanent manager right now. Like, if I'm going to sign there, who am I playing under next year?
Which is fair. And to be fair, just the last point for me is like, I'm not too fair. I'm not too worried about people coming in. It's the fact that we still can't get people out. That's more concerning because, again, a lot of noises. Man United, after they spend so amount of money, they have to sell to buy. And yet we're not letting Lingard, Martial, Donny, all these players that on the fringe, Matic, we're not letting them go. So that's our biggest issue right now. We've got a massive squad and they're failing to let them go because more Glazonomics.
Absolutely. But they're the odds on him coming in. And look, I am going to do a cheeky one because I'm going to stick a little bet on United though. And I know that KJ don't think he's coming in, but I'm just going to stick a couple of pounds on him coming in at 4-1 because this next week's going to be very interesting in the transfer market because football comes to an end for the English clubs, especially. It's when you're likely to see more of these deals go through. You can see that's locked in there. You think about the next deal we're going to talk about before we preview Chelsea versus Liverpool is Adama Traore. I think Wolves just maybe wanted to get one more game out of him, get this game out of the way, and then you have a week and a bit to get these transfers done, to get them over the line, to get them finished. You know, they play Brentford. He may or may not play, depending on how far down the line the deal is. But most January transfers happen between about the 20th and the end of the window. The first sort of 2 or 3 weeks are always quite quiet. On Traore, are you excited about that, Al? Is that the kind of signing that you think is really going to improve your team?
No, not really. I mean, on the right-hand side as wing-back, you got Royal and Doherty. Royal is just
remember
the worst.
Victor Moses. Remember Victor Moses.
No, and don't get me. I'm going to get onto that. So, So on the Royal was absolutely shocking as a player. You know, he's going forward. He can't cross. He can't put a ball in. Defending, he's just as bad. Doherty hasn't really done anything for Spurs. He's pretty much an Arsenal agent anyway because he's an Arsenal fan. I still remember that video. You know, when he's deleting his Arsenal tweets. You know, and all that nonsense. Adama Traore is fast. He's powerful. And all that, but his end product isn't 3 or 4 levels above what Royals is because for me, his end product isn't all that, and his defending isn't all that. So you're just putting somebody up on the wing, like a right wing back who's fast and powerful. But what we need is much better end product and much better defensively than what we've got. And I don't think it's a big improvement either way. So for me, I don't see it as a plus signing. But Conte done it with Victor Moses. If he does it with Traore and turns him into a world beater up and down that right hand side, I'll be the first to come on here and say I was wrong. I don't have agendas. I can't. If I'm wrong about something, I'll admit to it. I'm not like these people that just go, no, he's rubbish and I can't change my mind. So if Conte can get the best out of him, if he does come to us, then fair enough.
When
wait, Scott, when?
Yeah, when?
We'll see.
It's happening. It's happening.
Spurs,
Conte
Spurs
is not staying beyond this season, so it has to be by the end of the season.
Oh no, he will. So for me, Spurs have a habit of always shooting themselves in the foot with a thing. We wanted Bruno Fernandes. We got Gedson Fernandes. We want this is true. This is absolutely true.
So you want Adama Traore, and you're gonna get the one from Mali, the Malian Adama Traore.
We wanted Diaz. We never got Diaz. You know, we wanted.
You got Hill. Was it Hill? Brian Hill. That's close enough. You know what I mean?
No. So we wanted Diaz. We didn't get Diaz. Grealish, we could have got for I think it was 30 million. We went 25. They went no 30 million. We were like, no, we're okay. Didn't pay extra 5 million for Jack Grealish about 3-4 seasons ago when we signed no one. So Spurs have a habit of doing it. So I don't, it's taken this long when we've needed, for me, centre midfield is the area we need help the most because teams can bypass us so easily. But it's just not happening in centre midfield. So and we've taken this long to even try and get a signing over the thing. So I've just got no confidence in this ball no matter what.
I mean, Jess, we're kind of moving more into the talk. We are like they need a lot more than Traore, don't they? I mean, do you even think that's a priority position for Tottenham, fullback?
No, not really. I mean, there was promises of this being like a big and expensive January transfer window for Tottenham, and they're halfway through and they're getting Adama Traore on a cut price deal. And the reason why he's so cheap is because he ain't shit. Like, that's really what it is. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like they need a midfield. Like, they need midfielders. Like, how long have they needed somebody to replace Christian Eriksen? Like, it's been a long, long time. And so I don't think that this is what Conte maybe had envisioned. And for Tottenham, like, and Levy especially, like, the last thing you want to do is mess around in the January transfer window, let other teams get stronger, slip up at the final hurdle, end up in Europa League, and potentially lose a world-class manager. I think they're playing with fire here. I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility that Conte can turn Traore into a better player. But is that going to be like the difference that they need? No, because the midfield is really where they need help. And it's like they're neglecting that. But in January, it is difficult to get whatever your number one option is in midfield. So there's a little bit of that. But Traore, again, I'll come on here and say I was wrong if it changes. But I think that guy is very overrated, like very much so. There's just no end product there. And I get what he did with Victor Moses, but like, damn, that's a huge ask with Traore.
I agree.
Victor Moses was balling out for Wigan. People forget this. Like, man was
No,
sick at Wigan. Like,
He nearly
Not to
won
that
the league with
level.
Liverpool. He nearly won the league with Liverpool. Terry, I got to shoot though. Cheers for having me on.
All right, no worries, mate. No worries at all.
Next time you see me, I will be in an Arsenal shirt.
You better be. You
wonderful.
better be. Yeah, we know you got them peas, Bob. We know you got them peas. So like, no need to say you ain't broke. You ain't a broke man over there. Do you know what I mean?
Fuck off.
No, just saying, I wouldn't press a young man to buy a football shirt if I knew he was struggling to, the bills are tight. This guy's got a nice life, so he can buy it. Do you know what I mean? Fun those cronkies. In terms of the game this weekend, how are you feeling, Redneck? Because Chelsea have been rank average for about 12, 13 games now. Spurs in the league have been excellent. How are you feeling about this game come Sunday?
I think we don't know what to do with the statue up front yet. We can't figure out what to do with it. We have Jennifer is our, how you say it, the dynamic of the team is Jennifer, and that should tell you everything. We have monsters of a front three that can score, and Jennifer at the back when we get caught out of possession. So it was time to be exposed. I always said you build the team from the defensive midfield position. Every team have a really, really good defensive midfielder. Every team has it. Every good team has it. Let's say it that way, and that's why it's important. For me personally, that's most important role at Chelsea. The fact that we have to use him, and we have to use a player like Conte to run and help and do his own chores, then cover for his chores. The poor guy gets always injured. Like, if you think about it, if you just logically, I'm not saying that is. Go back to Chelsea's midfield injuries and guess who's always injured? Everybody but Jennifer. Why is that? Because everybody does his work. He only points the fingers like you do. I understand what he's actually do. I understand. It's just, for me, it's not suited for England. That's all it is. Plus, everybody wants Chelsea to score, but we actually playing. We sacrifice him in defense for the forward position. We also sacrifice in the middle for the forward position. So we already set up negatively to score the goals. I don't like people saying like, how can we not score the goals? Because we have two bodies in it all the time. There's only two bodies. There's nobody to pass it. There's nobody. We have fast-ass players on the wings that we don't pass it because the guy is afraid to hit the ball forward because I don't know why, because he can't, or he's afraid he's gonna hurt his foot by hitting the ball too hard. I don't know what's the problem with it. But that's where we go until the summer. And I think in the summertime, we're going to rethink the position again. And that's the difference. For Chelsea right now, I'm just surviving, man. I'm just surviving top 4 team that wants to actually make it to the summer just to see how we're going to change the structure of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm all behind Tuchel, but even he needs to freaking get his act together. Freaking making substitution at the 80th minute. I want to fly over there and smack the back of his head. 80th minute, what the 80th minute substitution?
I just want to address something with the audience as well. People say, why am I insulting you by calling you? His username is Redneck. That's why I'm calling him Redneck. So, like, before anybody gets triggered, that is his username. So,
and I'm okay with it.
Like, look, legit. If someone says no, it's not. It's right there.
There is lying. There it is. He wrote that. I didn't write it. Alan, how about you, mate? Because look, it was a very weird night on Wednesday.
Yeah,
you started off well, you were excited, then he conceded 2 goals. Like, Alan was almost in tears. You know what I mean?
It's a bit extreme. I was in tears.
We nearly had to put him on my knee. He was all crying. You know, one of the runners in the studio was like, "What's wrong with that kid?" She's so sure. What's wrong with that child over there? No, I didn't really. But then you came back. You came back out, and the comeback was one of the best Premier League comebacks of all time because of the timing. It was, was it something like 94 and 20 seconds? It was, you were 2-1 down, and 95 and 25 seconds or whatever, you were like winning 3-2. How much of a galvanizing moment do you think that could be for this team and this squad going into one of your hardest games of the calendar year, which the season, which is always away at Chelsea?
It can be galvanizing. You saw the reaction of the players and the manager and the whole entire team, the way they celebrated it. So it can be. No, being a Spurs fan, we know that all that means nothing, because normally in the next game we'll go and we'll fuck it all up anyway. The history going to Chelsea shows that we pretty much lose. I think we've won 1 game away at Chelsea in 30 years, or 30 appearances there, one win in 30. So history's against us, but Conte's got us playing really well in the league. Chelsea are, having problems in the league, so I think you can get them. Unfortunately, in the League Cup, we sat off them for the first game and the first half of the second game. We sat off of them and they just dictated play. But teams have shown, like, if you go at them like Brighton, you can cause them all sorts of problems. But we don't, for some reason, whenever we come to Chelsea, go away, we've got a weak mentality and we just sit off of them and let them dictate games and bully us. If we don't, and we move further up the pitch and press and play on the front foot and close them down and get in their faces, then I reckon we'll have some joy. That's why I reckon we can get a point there. I don't do this Arsenal fan thing, free hit, or we'll see what happens at the end of the game. I want to win, but I reckon we can get a point if we put it, stick it on them. If we do what we normally do and sit back, I expect us to lose like we always do, because it's just the Tottenham way at Chelsea.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I do. Jess, I want to ask you a question. I know we speak Chelsea a lot. You've kind of praised Chelsea a lot this year at times, but they are going for it at the moment. Have Chelsea been that bad in, 2 games against Brighton in the space of 20 days, they were outplayed? But are Chelsea really being outplayed in most of their games, or is it just a case of, not finishing their dinner?
I think it's just more not finishing their chances than Brighton are a very difficult team to play against. They have very good records against all of the top teams. Like, they don't finish their chances, but they match up really well with Chelsea because their pressing is just as good. So I think looking at that and putting that aside, I still think Chelsea is a strong team that are going through a difficult period, but strong teams that go through difficult periods are still dangerous. And so I wouldn't completely count them out just yet. They are due some sort of, I think, resurgence. I don't think they'll go tanking down. Resurrection, that is the word. Yeah. Some sort of, galvanizing moment where they can move forward. Every team goes through bad periods. I think this is theirs, but it's not that bad. We've kind of talked about this on the Straight Facts show, that it's kind of like they do have to start getting some wins under their belt, or else it's starting to look a little bit like, okay, are you going to be top 4? But with this particular game, I just look at the matchup, and Spurs did a very good job in the first half against Leicester, but Leicester somehow got into that game. And the reason for that is because there's still questions around Spurs defense. And then they were able to win the game later on. I think the matchup with it is difficult because Chelsea are good at pressing. And when they're on it, and Spurs are not good when they're pressed. Leicester's midfield was dog duty against you guys. So I think it's going to be so close, but Spurs need to play like they played in that first half against Leicester to get anything away from home at Chelsea, because Chelsea, the matchup is Brighton versus Chelsea pressing each other is a matchup. Spurs don't press. So it's kind of like if they press you and you don't press them and you sit off, which you may do away from home, I think it'll be difficult. But it's still going to be close because they're not finished in their dinner. I see a draw, some sort of 1-1, something like that. But Spurs need to play like they did in that first half to get something. That's the best that they played since Conte has been here. That's the first time that they look different to me. And, you know, I've been saying that I didn't think they looked different. Y'all look different against Leicester in that first half, but Leicester and Chelsea are two completely different things. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think you make that makes a lot of sense there, especially in terms of that defense, and the Liverpool performance needs to happen because Chelsea are going to dominate the ball in this game for me. They're going to play the better football in this game. It's going to be those transition moments, those counter-attacks. Transitions become the new word for counter-attacks now. I suppose it sounds a little quirky, doesn't it? How you attack in the transition. It's like, what's that?
Regista word became
my dad said that to
sudden.
me. Yeah, my dad said that to me. He goes, what is a transition? I said, well, generally, when you win the ball back and attack, he went, oh, so a counter-attack then. And I think he asked me what low block was once. I explained it. He went, oh, so sitting back. I went, yeah, it's just new words, right? It's just the same thing. You know, sitting in the mid or pushing up high. Yeah,
they do have a fast forwards. They do have a fast three, even without Son. Without Son, they have not Son, the player's son. Without him, they have a fast forwards.
I would say that's certainly if Moura's not having a good game, I feel like Spurs also struggle because there isn't anybody else with any real speed. Does that make sense? Like the one thing I say about Tottenham's team, and I kind of get why. It's why I think Traore is a player they want. Your fullbacks are slow. Even like Emerson Royal, slow. Reguilon, slow. Your midfield is fairly cumbersome. Like nobody, barring Son or Moura, has any real that electrifying speed over 10 yards in football. That first 10 yards is the most
take-off speed.
Bergwijn does, but he just doesn't play as much.
Yeah, well, maybe they should use the same Jello system. You know, like
do you think
lubricate themselves.
Yeah.
Baby oil, let's see, baby.
What are you saying, KJ? Do you think
imagine Kane in the baby oil?
Don't I feel sick. KJ, do you think that Bergwijn should start after his heroics at the end?
No.
I agree.
No, like yes, it's great that he's had that moment, but let's be honest, has he been Spurs' most influential player this season? No. Has he proven before that he should be playing? No. And I like Bergwijn, but he's not lived up to the hype and the hope that Spurs fans had for him. He was a very good Eredivisie player. He's come here now, and it's like, yo, I swear, last 2 weeks ago, he was on the verge of being sold to Ajax. So just because he scored 2 last-minute goals in a very unpredictable or unnormal fashion, it's not like, all right, cool, now you can start now. No, I feel like Conte needs to stick with the game plan he has, and that game plan will probably be to use Bergwijn again in the same kind of role, where if Chelsea are tired, they've got their legs are going because you've obviously got old men at the back. You've got old man on the wing back. You bring on Bergwijn. I think starting him from the start, it probably hinders them when he can actually be useful off the bench. So I wouldn't just start him. Great moment for him though. Like him and Moura have the 2 greatest moments in Spurs history. You know what I mean? Well, modern history.
It is. It's true. It is. It's true.
So, yeah.
That's why they have pictures in the trophy cabinet.
Yeah, that's them too. Yeah, that's it. No trophy, no medals, pictures, a DVD.
I was waiting for the DVDs when
we
the
have
DVD
trophies,
was going to
guys.
drop.
Let's not go down that route. We do have trophies.
Yeah,
so there we go.
Old trophies.
Don't care. Still trophies.
Yeah, I mean, old. We've hit 1,000 likes, people, which is amazing. So I'm going to give you the Football Terrace secret phrase clue. So, Manchester United and Sheffield United both have very famous, exceptionally famous examples of this phrase. That is your clue.
What's the other clues?
That's the clue. The other clue was I didn't write this down, so I've said it different ways each time. The other one was you don't always notice it straight away. So that's what it is there. So that's what the secret phrase is. And someone says, "What? That's the clue." That Nez, you are. We know you're a troll, Nez, but that is a clue. You will know the clue. The clue isn't going to be obvious. I'm not. The secret phrase isn't going to be Cristiano Ronaldo, and the clue is going to be he scored one of the best free kicks ever against Portsmouth. That's just stupid. Do you know what I mean? The idea is when you're super chatting regularly, you put your guess on the end, and we give you clues to make it easier. So one of our brilliant super chatters has a chance of winning the PlayStation 5. No one else does that. Most of the YouTube channels that you super chat into don't even read them. But there we go. That's another conversation for another day. What's your score prediction for this game, Jess? What's your score prediction?
I'm going to go with a 1-1.
What are you saying, Cage?
0-0.
Alan?
1-0. What?
And what about yourself, Regnet? What are you saying, brother? What are you saying, Alex?
I don't do score predictions, but I do it in a different way. I always call it 5-0 and Jennifer hat-trick on the penalties.
Wait, what?
It's just a deflective because I don't do it. I'm really superstitious person.
Fair enough, innit? Fair enough.
Every game I'm saying 5-0 and somebody getting a hat-trick, either a Lukaku or a Jennifer. All right, I'll do it. This is first time I'm on Terrace, so I'll do a real one that I think it's going to be 3-0. That's my actual prediction. I think it's
to
going to be
Spurs. Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. If you took it that way, you just go ahead and take it that way. But I think it's going to be 3-0.
A decent bet there. The odd link is in the live comment section and the description below. People, I'm sensing a Spurs win. I'm sensing a Spurs win. I'm gonna go 2-1 Spurs myself. I think Spurs are gonna do something this weekend.
It's gonna be smoking.
No.
Can I have the same thing you smoking?
Yeah.
15-1. It's a decent set of odds, as you can see. They're 15-1 on 2-1. Strip Bear here with a super chat has said 2-1 to Chelsea. So we'll put that in there. And what did you say your bet was, Jess?
1-1.
1-1. That's at 13-2. And Redneck, what did you say, brother?
5-0.
3-0.
3-0. That's here at 13-1. So they're the 4 bets that we're now going to place. I've just got to top the account up ever so slightly before I can do that. And obviously, I'm not going to do it on the screen because you'll see my security details of my card, which I'm not going to reveal to the world. So let me just do this very quickly and then deposit some more money and then get that done. We're so close to winning that bet the other day. Got lots of here, like 2-0 Spurs. I think it's a bit of reverse psychology there from Chelsea time. A little bit of reverse psychology there coming into play.
No, Chelsea playing home, so 2 is Chelsea, Spurs is 0. First numbers for Chelsea.
No, but when you write 2-0 Spurs like that, that'll be Spurs winning 2-0.
I think he's from Russia too, I think. So.
I get what you're saying.
There we go. We'll get these back up on the screen now so you can all see. So the 2-1 to Spurs, I'm going to put a little £2.50 on that. 2-0. That was how much did Strip Bear put in there? Strip Bear put £5 in, I think. Yes, £5 Strip Bear put in. So I will match that bet there with £5 going in, and then we'll stick £1 on all the others. I don't know why it's doing this today where it's not scrolling down. £1 in there. So there we go. That's the total bets in. I think anybody else who's super chatted in will get those locked in, as you can see, and that is done. That is dusted. That is over the line. See, this is how you know when you got a troll. I did this on purpose here. I just blocked this guy a second ago, and he literally had a new account up and open in seconds. And people act like they don't have multiple accounts. So I'm going to block him again now and see if he comes back. See, I want to see how quickly you can get another account opened. So I've re-blocked you, Nez. I want to see how fast you can come back. I'm going to guess a minute because you're not signing up to a new one. You already have one. You already have one. Man like Daps in the house. He says, tearing Cockneys apart again. Is what Daps has got to say. That's not the secret phrase. I can assure you of that. We did have a guess at the secret phrase from Have Hope's Factors Opinions, which is the secret phrase prolific goal scorer. And that was last. Well, that was
That's the last one. All right, he's trying to see your bluff. He's trying to see through your bluff.
Yeah. It's a good attempt, though. It's a good attempt. It's like, you know what I mean? It's a good attempt. It isn't too far wrong, to be honest. But there we go. who's been blocked. I was just one of my trolls. There's about 4 guys, all the same person, that keep switching accounts. They make me laugh. They're so funny. They all say the same thing as each other. One of them said the only reason I abuse Terry is because it cures my depression. I felt a bit sorry for him, really. That's what he said. I'm just reading his comment.
We shouldn't be laughing at that. That's funny. Like, that is funny. Sorry that you have depression, but don't abuse people to cure it, though.
Someone here says, has anyone ever had a PS5? Well, some people have got them, but no one's won the PS5 yet. The guy that won the Xbox has got his. I know big up TFT. I know you try and say that the Terrace is scamming, but everyone who's won their prizes has had their stuff. So, and we've shown pictures of it. So nice try trying to lie about the Terrace. But
someone said Terry the therapist.
But you say it's sad, but I'm going to be really controversial. That troll saying it, I believe they're saying it. So everyone goes, I don't actually believe they're serious, to be honest. If they are, I wish them Godspeed. But there we go. Listen, everybody. Look, Tyler, he's back within a minute with a different account. There he is. Hey. Terry's
got it this time.
But I've now got your account details. I know that your multiple accounts are the same name. So I'll report you directly to YouTube and I'll block your IP address because they can do that because we know you've got multiple accounts. And that is against policy. So thank you, Nez, for letting me know. I'm only joking. I made that up just to wind you up, but there we go. Everybody that has tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Smash the like and share button. Please sign up to your free Bet Victor account now. All the links are below. Go check out some of the odds from tonight, but always remember to gamble responsibly. We only do it here for a few pounds here and a few pounds there, so that even if the bets don't happen, for us, it isn't the end of the world. If it is something fake Nez, this is the real one. I love it. Maddie, I've now blocked like 5 of those accounts that have all come back. Excuse me. Always bet what you can afford to lose. And please do it responsibly, as we say, read all the T's and C's. I've got some great special offers on as well, especially for you existing users that are here every week. Go check out their loyalty page and see what they've got available to help boost the fun you get out of it. Because most of us are able to have fun with doing it and everything else. Daps here says, head over to Igara's channel at 8 p.m. For the once the Terrace stops stream. Well, yeah, we're done now. So yeah, get across to there afterwards. Until next time, we've got another one. I'm the real Nez. I am Spartacus. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless.